Cloud. Okay, I think that's it. Perfect. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm so excited for tonight. First of all, my name's Amanda. I'm a double diamond on Fire Tribe. Thank you all for making time out of your schedule to invest in your businesses. And thank you so much to Alissa, who is joining us tonight. Alissa is our ambassador. She is someone that I have looked up to since day one in the business. I know that the same is true for Brittany and Claire as well. We are incredibly blessed to be underneath her as our upline and to have such awesome support from her and to be able to have her time tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. If you can just give us all a little brief introduction. I know you were really young when you joined the company. If you can just tell us a little bit about your story to get started.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. You guys, I found this business on Facebook when I was 22 years old. And I feel like I was so young, but now there's tons of 18-year-olds who are literally killing it. But I'm like, hey, I was 22 when I found this amazing business. And I could not even afford to buy my kit, you guys. I was living on food stamps, government assistance, a very young mom. And when I discovered this business, I was like, okay, what do I need to do to get started? And it was $100 at that time. I didn't even have $100. And so I sold stuff on a local garage sale site to purchase my kit. And I never freaking looked back. I was just ignorance on fire. And I made a decision, I joined for an extra $500 a month. And as I kind of understood the business model of the steps to success and I printed off the charts, I instantly realized what I truly had my hands on. And, I just stayed so laser focused on what I wanted, but I also was putting in so much work. But I feel like, I just owned where I was at every part of my journey. And I think that is something that I hope to instill throughout this entire team is, I was a Ruby having team trainings. I was, we didn't have Zoom at the time, but if we did, I would have been hosting Zooms. I was hosting trainings. In just 2 years, I hit the highest rank of the company. I've earned over $550,000 in bonuses. I hit the Millionaires Club in 2 years. And, I could sit here and tell you everything that this business has been able to bless me with. But what I really want you to understand is that I am no one special. I've never done anything like this before. I was awful at sales my entire life. But I feel like when you align yourself with something that's just so much bigger than you, that you can do exactly what I've done here.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question I have for you is, how did you make things happen with no excuses when you weren't in ideal circumstances? As a single mom on food stamps, how did you go from that point to being a millionaire in less than 2 years?
You know what? I made a decision, and I talk to girls about this all the time, but I decided what I wanted, and I also chose a time frame. So every single rank that I have achieved throughout this entire journey, I've decided when it's happening and how it's happening and who's going with me. But also, you've got to stay so laser focused and in your own lane, or else you're going to start they would say losing motivation. And I'm not here to motivate you, but I'm here to tell you that, if you decide that you want to go diamond in the next few months, guess what? Decide it's happening, decide who's going with you, decide, how it's happening, and then get it done. So I've never in my entire business have I just talked the talk. I also walk the walk. So if I'm expecting you to do something, you better believe that I'm doing it. And if I expect you to achieve a goal or to sign a customer or to sign a distributor, even 5 years later, I'm still doing that. But every single rank, I decided what was happening and when it was happening and who it was happening with. Have I missed certain goals? Absolutely. Have I lost rank before? Absolutely. And, you know, it's just a part of the journey. But I always was so laser focused, and I was never looking at what everyone else was doing. And I think that that truly is something that set me apart from the beginning. Well, first of all, I didn't even know like how to search other leaders or how to like tell like, who people were. But once I realized that, you know, there are tons of other leaders in this company. There are tons of other people who are rocking and rolling at this. I never looked right or left. I always stayed in my own lane. And that's what I've done since I got started. And I truly believe that doing that and not comparing myself to other people and what they're doing, like I'm not on their journey. I'm on my own journey. And you can't jump into this and start comparing yourself to someone who's on their chapter 20 when you're just getting started. And it's so easy to do. So I do want to acknowledge that it is so easy to do, but you have got to really develop yourself along the way. And I know that we'll get into personal development, but developing your mind and your specific skills that you have instilled in you and not worrying about what anyone else is doing, that's how you get to where you want to be.
Oh wait, I'm muted. Okay. Thank you. I love that so much. All right. So how do you keep yourself motivated when you're going through a slow time, feedback, or even from your customers?
So I feel like, you know, when you're going through what you would call a slow time, that something's missing in your business. And especially right now, there should be no slow movement happening because we are in such a momentum season. And so I do want to remind you that if you feel like you're in a slow season right now, there's something that you need to switch. And listen, it's like a 2 millimeter change. When you think about, you know, what do I need to do differently? You think about like, I need to do everything differently, but it's these 2 millimeter changes that can completely transform how you're doing things, what you're saying, how you're coming off to people. And so I've never really had a slow time in my business because I've never stopped working. I've never slowed down. I'm never not messaging. I'm never not posting. And I feel like when you're having that, like if you feel like things are slowing down, it's probably because you're slowing down, or you're just not really like completing your non-negotiables or your to-do list or doing income producing activities. And I remember when I was an emerald and I was so dang busy in my mind, you guys, that I wanted to walk away from this business because nothing was happening for me. But here's where I was stuck. I was stuck thinking that I was doing so much for my organization to grow, but nothing was income producing that I was doing. I was staying so busy in my mind and I was exhausting myself. 80% of this is all in your mind. 20% is the work. I was mentally exhausting myself that it made me start to doubt myself. It made me start to I wasn't having fun in the business anymore because I stopped doing the things that were income producing for me because I started taking it so serious, and I stopped doing the income producing activities. And so what you have to remember is that you have to stay on your roadmap. So whatever roadmap that you pick for yourself, whatever steps to success that, you know, if you look at your steps to success, whatever chart that you choose, you are going to follow that every single step of the way. And you're going to show up every single day. So I always ask people, you know, if they aren't doing something that is growing their business.
Have you ever tried it at work? She says, yes, don't do it.
Don't make me stand.
Can we mute them? Okay. And so, like I was saying, is when you are so laser focused on the income producing activities, that is how you are going to begin to build your business and to continue growing your business. So you have to identify quickly when you get started, what works for you. Is it messaging? Is it posting? Is it showing up and blitzing, going to events and bringing people with you? And so I identified those things, and every single day I do the same things that work for me, that grow my team, that grow my loyal customer count, and I stick with those. And so if you feel like you're going into a slow season, you need to stop yourself and ask, what am I changing that I was doing that was working for me? And if you're just getting started, you're not going through a slow season. You just haven't put your foot on the accelerator yet. That's all that means. And what was your other question? I'm sorry.
No, you answered everything perfectly. I loved so much how you said it. Basically, just like how you make things happen and how you keep yourself motivated when you're going through a slow time or have negative people around you. Okay, so if you don't mind, so what I'm hearing you basically say is that it's a decision that you make, and it's something that you set in your head ahead of time. You take time to decide, and you just do it. So like what you said, if you're going through a slow time right now, what would you say to somebody who has the potential and who has done amazing, in this company, but just doesn't seem to be like, living up to that potential? Or even like, what would you say to those leaders?
You know what? So I would say, first of all, is you're going to go through so much life while you're building this business. I mean, especially if you do plan on building a legacy. You're going to raise your babies in this business. You're going to go through, deaths and births and everything that you can think of. And I just recently went through a divorce last year. And I mean, I could have used that as an excuse, but I showed up every day, even when I didn't want to show up. And that's what sets people apart from people who don't succeed versus the people who do. Because I promise you that all of us are going through so much life, but I make a decision every day to show up, and I'm showing up for the person that I want to be 5 years from now. So I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, what is the Alissa 5 years from now? What is she doing? She's showing up. She's making the extra calls. She's sending the extra messages. She's getting her workout in. She's eating healthy. She's getting uncomfortable and socializing more. And just everything that the person who I will be 5 years from now. And I have a whole list of who she is and what she does and how she always goes the extra mile. And I try to do everything that she would do every day for myself, for this version of who I am now, because that's how I'm going to get to who I want to be 5 years from now. And so you need to write down, who do you want to be in 5 years? What kind of car do you want to drive? Where do you want to live? How do you want people to know you? Who are you hanging out with? What are you eating? Like, even down to how many books are you reading a month? Where are you working out at? Where are you showing up at? What events are you speaking at? Are you on stage at conference? And you have to write it down and journal it and visualize it. And then I show up as that person every day. So if you want to be a double diamond, what do you think a double diamond does every day? If you want to be a triple diamond, what the heck do you think a triple diamond does every day? Do you think they send out 5 messages? Do you think that they ditch someone for coffee because they're nervous to present the opportunity? You show up and you make a decision every day, not for how you feel right now, but for how you want to feel 5 years from now. And so when you go through hard times, when you're having a slow season, you show up for that person, not for how you feel in this moment right now. Because I'm telling you, if you show up for how you feel based on day to day, you're going to be exactly where you are right now in 5 years. But you got to show up for who you want to be in 5 years from now. And what does their 24 hours look like? Like, I'm telling you, journal it down to what toothpaste do they freaking use? And you start showing up as that person, and you start to every single day, you become who you want to be. But if you decide on how you work your business, how many messages you're sending out, how many opportunity meetings you have, how many Zooms you're going to host, how many calls you're going to jump on, based on how you feel in this moment, you are not going to be where God desires you to be in 5 years. And I can promise you that. You've got to show up for yourself. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're not doing this for me. You're not doing this for Amanda or Brittany or Claire or anyone else. You're doing it for yourself. And so that is something that you have to take complete ownership of, is that I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to share a story and my story and my tips, because this is my real life. Like, I was living on food stamps. I had $5 in the bank. I have my Medicare card right up here in my office. And I'm telling you that when you stay committed to what you want and you realize why in the heck do you want it, and you can be selfish about this. Like, I understand that you want to do this for your family, but what do you want? And write it down and journal it and picture and visualize it and have it where you can see it every single day. And that will make you want to step into who you're supposed to be, not how you feel right now.
I am loving this so much. You're speaking life. I'm so happy that we got here tonight. Like, seriously. Everyone was so excited. Okay, so one question, and this, you kind of just said you don't do this, you're not here to motivate us, but what do you do to motivate your DTs to keep you going when things are not going as quick as they want them to? You kind of just touched on that.
You know what? I feel like a lot of the times when you come into this, we paint a really pretty picture of how this looks. I mean, we make it look easy, and we can just, I could sit here and tell you success stories all day long, but the truth is that it is like this. It is not like this. I have failed every single day while I've built my business the last 5 years. Every single day. I have made so many mistakes. I have had unhappy customers. I've had best friends walk away from the business. I've had, people quit. Like, everything that you go through or that you feel like you're going through, we've been through it. Like, we will guide you through that. There's not a question that we haven't had. There's not a trial that we haven't also gone through. But when it comes to, your distributors, you want to make sure that they have realistic expectations for where they want to be. And so when I say that, I mean, what do they want? What rank do they want? What monthly income do they want? And how much time can they truly put into this? And having those upfront expectations based on, those questions, that helps me set the tone for that person. And I don't expect anything from you. I just expect you to show up for yourself. If you want to run, I will run beside you. If you want to walk, I will meet you the next time I lap around. But you have to picture yourself like you're running a race. And if you're trying to carry people on your back, you're never making it. Like, visualize that. You are never making it to the finish line. And so we're all on such different journeys, but you have to make sure that your journey is aligned with exactly what you want. You have to create your own success story. And if you need to latch on to mine or Amanda's or Brittany's or whoever's while you're building yours, you can do that. But if you don't start creating your own story, then you're going to start feeling lost in the wilderness. And that's what we don't want. So we want to get you on a path to where you know exactly where you want to be in 1 month, 3 months, in 1 year. What do you want? What's your monthly income? What chart are we looking at? How much time? Where are you going to need my assistance the most? And so those are just a few questions that I ask. But every tool that we have on our team pages, on our training pages, on our training websites, that's available to you is something that we've created because we've had to figure it out on our own. And so you literally have everything you need to build a multi-million-dollar business at your fingertips. We didn't have any of this. We didn't have training pages or team pages or Zooms or anything, but we've created that for you so that you can stay so laser focused on building what you desire. And that, that's got to motivate you. That's got to push you, but you can only motivate yourself. We're here to lead by example. We're here, to provide insight. We're here to help you through tough situations with unhappy customers or a distributor who walks away. But everyone's journey is so different. And so I know that, if I'm not hearing back from you, that it means a few different things. Maybe you don't have time to message me, or maybe you have a question that you're afraid to ask, or maybe you quit. Like, it could be a number of things. And so you have to, not take it so seriously as far as like having responsibility when someone comes into your business and doesn't do what they say that they're going to do. Because they have everything at their fingertips. It is up to you to align them on what their next focus is for the next 30 days and 90 days. that is up to you. That's what I expect my team to do when they're bringing people in. It's what I expect you to do when you're bringing people in. But I can't make you work your business, and I'm not going to text you and call you every time something's going on, because if you want to show up, you'll just show up. You'll jump on the call, you'll jump on the Zoom, you'll sign the customer, you'll sign the distributor. You know where you're going because we're always in contact with each other. But I don't ever chase my distributors around. I let them know, listen, you have complete access to me. Utilize me. Like, text me, call me, FaceTime me, whatever you need. I am here to guide you. You need to utilize me. And if they don't, that's a choice that they're making. But that is completely up to them.
I love that so much. I've heard another top leader say when we were in Houston this week, that the can't do attitude is something that I can't change for you. That's a decision that you have to make. And I love like how possible it is for us to just completely change the trajectory of our month. Like, for example, the month that I went double, like, it's easy to feel like there's a slow couple of days or whatever, but I really believe that's something completely in our head that we are in control of. If we know what we're doing, and like you said, like, you've given us the golden key, you've built an empire for us to, you know, have our businesses thrive, and you've given us all the tools that we need. So how much of that do you think is in your head?
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing is that you are going to have so many bad days while you're building your business. Like, you just are. You're going to have people who don't show up for a coffee meeting. You're going to have someone who ditches you when they're supposed to come to your event, or they don't show up on your online party. But you have to remember that, you know, as long as you are showing up, that is so important. And I think that, you know, being accepting of the failures that come along with this, you've just really had to, I don't want to say build thick skin, because it's not like you shouldn't be afraid of failing. It's just is what we do. And so what you have to remember is that every day you're pouring into yourself every single day. 80% of this is in your mind, whether it's an audio book or an actual book or a podcast or a YouTube video. At least 30 minutes a day, you've got to really be prepping your mind. If I had not done that, I would not be where I am today. Whether it's leadership or having crucial conversations, or, you know, just everything in every aspect of my life. Like, I don't just read personal development books now. I read so many different books. I've had to do a lot of ugly, like, cleaning of my own personal self, and like go through the hard times that takes as well. But you just become a different person. And I think that as you grow yourself, you learn why you react the way you react, why your belief system is the way that it is. You know, I've had to completely restructure my financial blueprint, and that is something that helped me break through to the next level. I would not be a millionaire today had I not done that. And so you have to be aware of the things of what your thoughts are. And, you know, something that I did, and I really recommend doing if you're not someone who thinks positive, is have a journal with you and carry it with you for like 3 to 5 days. And I want you to write all of your thoughts down. And your thoughts have so much power that you don't even realize that what you're thinking about, you are bringing into your life. And so that, you know, that could be making sure that you have affirmations on your fridge, on your bathroom mirror. I have affirmations in my car, on my phone screen. You have to be pouring so much life into yourself and really taking care of yourself, because your business will only grow as much as you have grown. And so that means that, you know, there's going to be times where you fail. There's going to be conversations that you do not want to have with someone that you have to have. There's going to be hard moments in your business while you're going through your life. And I mean, like, you're going through so much as you're doing this, but there's so much life that comes from growing yourself that you don't even realize like is instilled in you until there's a moment where something happens and you're able to speak up, you're able to show up differently, you speak differently, you love people differently, you care about other people differently, you build a different business when you are taking care of yourself and your mind first. And that is like, that's the very first puzzle piece in this whole thing, is that if you're not prepping your mind and taking care of you, and every single day you're doing this, every day, 30 minutes a day. And if you don't have 30 minutes a day, then that's a whole different story. Like, do it when you're getting ready. Do it when you're driving in the car. You can do it anywhere. I mean, I know you're thinking of all the different ways that you can fit 30 minutes into your day. And if that means it's an audiobook or a podcast, then do it. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. That's all I listen to when I'm driving. It's all I listen to when I'm getting ready. It's how I start every single day. And then I love doing a devotional or something that kind of quiets my mind down, because I cannot get pumped up right before bed. So I do my devotionals late at night. Sometimes I start my morning with that as well. But, you know, do something every day to grow yourself and really invest in you, because you're, you know, without you, there's nothing, like there's no business. There's nothing that comes from, you know, building your legacy if you're not at your best self. And so you have got to prep your mind every single day. I cannot stress it enough. No matter what you do, no matter how successful you want to be, it won't happen unless you are prepping your mind.
Thank you so much. I love that. Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, so we're going to have to probably cut out a couple of these. But one thing that I know everybody wants to hear from you, we know you practice attraction marketing, queen of attraction marketing. But what are your tips for attracting potential distributors and then eventually sealing the deal?
So I do definitely attraction marketing. And I think that, you know, I've also built Belly to Belly my first 7 months. I do a lot of messaging, and I also do attraction marketing. So I kind of do it all. And I even was blitzing at one point with like hives all over my whole body. But I would never expect you to do something that I haven't done. But every day I just share parts of my story, and that's something that you kind of want to keep a tally of, is you should be sharing your story and why you got started at least 10 times a day. And you can keep a tally of it, you know, on a sticky note or a random piece of paper around your desk or even on your phone. But sharing your story at least 10 times a day of why you got started in this is so important, because people latch onto that because you're showing them something bigger. And, you know, that's what I saw when Tiffany was posting on Facebook. You know, she was just sharing her story day after day after day. And I was like, I'm done watching this. Like, I need to be a part of it. And so you have to know that people are watching your page. And I know it might seem like they're not, like maybe it's crickets, but I can promise you, like when Claire joined my team, we had never spoken once about it. I was in the business for quite a while, and she thought that I wouldn't think she would be good because I never reached out to her, but I continued to post until she finally reached out. And that's why posting is so important, even when you think that no one is seeing it. And so you have to remember that sharing your story every day is so important, but also sharing other people's stories is amazing as well, because there are people that I don't necessarily connect with story-wise, but someone else's story could be that's them. Like that they're in college right now and they don't know what the heck they want to do, but they're racking up all of this debt. And so I'm sharing a story about that. I'm sharing a story of Brittany, who has 5 kids, and, you know, she's killing her business. I'm sharing all of these different stories because my story isn't going to connect with everyone. But if I'm sharing all of these, then I'm going to hit so many different people and make them really start thinking. And so once they see a post, that seed is kind of planted in their mind, especially when you message someone, even if they say no. You guys, people tell me no every day. But I know that I planted that. And so every time that they see a post of mine or a story of mine, that they go back to thinking about the business. And people's lives are changing every 9 months. Someone loses a job, they lose a loved one, they have a baby. Every 9 months, someone's moving. So you have to stay so consistent when you are posting and when you are messaging and as you're building relationships. And once I have someone interested, I always get their number right away. I say, I am so excited to tell you more. Would it be okay if I text you? I jump over to text with them. I always put PDT and then their name. So on Fridays when I'm doing follow-ups, I actually do like three days of follow-ups a week, but I type in PDT and it brings up every single one of my potentials. And so what that conversation looks like is I'm jumping over there to the phone with them and I'm voice messaging it here and there if I can, just because I want them to hear my voice. I want them to hear my excitement. I know that maybe that sounds a little uncomfortable to some of you, but you can practice sending some to yourself or send some to your sister or a family member and ask them what they think about it. It doesn't have to be like this crazy long voice message, but you do want to make sure that you're getting in the habit of that if it's something you're comfortable with. And it could be a skill that you don't even know you have yet. So start testing that out a little bit. And then I ask them immediately more about them. So I'm like, Amanda, I am so pumped to chat with you today. Tell me a little bit more about you. Where are you from and what do you know about my business? And then I know, are they familiar with It Works? I know where they live. I know a little bit about their story. And if they're unfamiliar with It Works, like if she would say, I'm actually not really familiar with it, then I have a little paragraph that I send and it just explains that we're a debt-free health and wellness company. I get paid to share over 50 products online and around the world with people that have completely transformed me and my health. And I do it all on social media. And so it's just a little paragraph that I send. And then I immediately go into asking more questions about them. What monthly income would give you some breathing room? Why do you feel like this company would be a good fit for you? And we just chat back and forth for, maybe like 4 or 5 texts. And then I say, I am so excited to be talking with you and I want to send you some more info about what it takes to be a distributor. And then I have a specific text that I always send. And I say, once you're done, we'll go over all of your questions. And that's when I jump on the phone with them. I jump on a FaceTime or maybe a Zoom, or maybe they just feel more comfortable in text, which is totally fine. And so then we go over any questions that they have. And I immediately try to get them into the system right then and there. So sometimes they don't even have questions. They're like, I'm ready, let's do it. Or sometimes they do. So, and here's the thing, if you're just getting started, it's okay to not know the answer to a specific question. That's why, you have all of your team pages and your newbie messages and all of these tools. And people don't expect you to do this perfectly. And like, there are conversations that I still butcher sometimes. Like, it's not good. It's not this like pretty painted picture, you guys. But as soon as we go over their questions, I say, okay, let's get you started. I can send you my website, or if you feel comfortable giving me your info, I'll get you all set up right now. And so they choose one or the other. And if they're not ready to sign right then and there, then I say, that's fine, no problem. What day do you think you want to get started? And so I either sign them there or I do a calendar close, which means that I get a specific date from them that they are going to be joining me and my team. And if I can, I always try to get their info. So their card info, like all the basic info that you need, their website, what products do they want for their auto shipment. And I try to get that so that I can sign them up that day that they told me. I would just text them in the morning and say, hey, Jordan, I just wanted to let you know that I'll be getting you set up here in a little bit with the rest of the girls. And she'll be like, fine, that's cool. Okay. And then, but sometimes, sometimes people aren't quite ready. I've had one of my girlfriends, Sydney, I followed up with her for 7 months, you guys. And it was like over 17 text messages and it was just craziness. And now she's a double diamond in the business. But I never stop following up and I never write people off. And I think that we're so easy to just like think that someone's not interested. But at that time she was in school, she was going to be a nurse. Like, people are just going through life. And so you can't ever stop following up. And I also love to use, I hope I didn't say anything to offend you. I use that a lot just to grab their attention. And usually there's always something that they were doing when they just like read my text and never text me back. It's always something like that. And if they're a little hesitant, I always ask, where are you at 1 through 10? 10 meaning that you're ready to join the business. A lot of times people have questions that maybe they don't feel comfortable quite yet asking you, or maybe they're just nervous in general. So that really opens up a line of communication that, they're going to ask questions that maybe they weren't going to ask because they were nervous. But I always say, how can we get you to a 10? And that opens up that line of communication. And I almost every time can seal the deal based on that conversation, because I know that there was something holding them back. And, you know, there's so many reasons why people want to say no, or why they feel not secure signing up, or just all of those things. And so being able to navigate them through that and letting them know that this is normal, like to feel this way, or this is a question that gets asked a lot, just letting them know that you really hear them is so important. And so that's kind of just a few tips on how I seal the deal. But I am just very short, quick, and thorough. Get them signed up, get them on their journey, and we immediately go right into training.
I absolutely love that, and I love the story of how many times you followed up with Sydney, because consistency. I mean, and now she's a double diamond. Like, you didn't know you were about ready to sign your next rock star. If you would have been consistent, she could have gone somewhere else. But that's awesome, and I love the thing about how can I get you to attend, because I feel like that would really communicate to the person that you care about their needs and helping them. But do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead. You're fine.
So everyone is looking at your pictures all the time on Instagram and all of your Facebook pictures. And I just have one question for you. What in the world are you doing to make your pictures look so flawless? I mean, clearly you're gorgeous. We already know that. We've seen you in person. But, like, what are your top tips to making your pictures look super attractive and super eye-catching?
So I think that the first thing is, when it comes to your social, you want to make sure that you have a theme throughout your photos. So I love keeping my photos, they're bright, they're crisp, they're colorful. I edit all of my photos on PicTap Go, and I also do Lightroom. I have a preset that I love. Presets are amazing, you guys. If you aren't quite sure how you want to edit your photos, get some cheap ones and mess around with it a little bit. But I love using like Facetune. I will like whiten my teeth and smooth my skin. And then I love like the details. If you click like details, I'll like put that like over my shirt or like on my hair sometimes. And it just like makes it really crispy and pop. And so I love doing that as well, especially if I'm in like a bright shirt. I just will take the details and I'll like just go over it. You can blur stuff out. It's amazing. I love it. But I think that, you know, really developing what color scheme you kind of want to go for, that's huge. I have always posted my pictures like crispy and colorful and bright. And so I think that, you know, that if that works for you, then download PicTap Go. I literally use like the crispity, the contrast, and then the brighten. And those are my favorite ones with that app that I use. And that has been for like 4 years now.
Okay, thank you so much for
your time. You're welcome.
I appreciate you so much, and I know the girls are going to want to have this uploaded, so I'll get this uploaded as soon as possible.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night, guys.
Bye, guys.